Have you ever felt that you carry within you a crown that the world has never been able to see? As if there were a dormant royalty in your soul that insists on whispering even when everything around you screams the opposite. It is not wounded pride. It is not vanity. It is not the fantasy of someone who has suffered too much. It is spiritual memory. It is the silent remembrance of who you truly were before the world pushed you to the ground, before people with no authority over your destiny tried to convince you that you were born to crawl, before circumstances orchestrated in the unseen tried to stain a lineage that could never be erased. And what is happening right now in the spiritual realm explains exactly why this feeling has intensified inside you in recent weeks. Why you have been waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing. Why you have been crying without understanding the reason. Why you feel deep down that something great is about to happen even when everything on the outside seems stuck. There is an order being issued from the throne at this very moment. An order with a set time, 8 o'clock. This is the specific instant when the Father has decreed to turn the page of your story. Those who saw you fallen will see you crowned. Those who laughed at your fall will watch in embarrassed silence as the brilliance of your crown is restored by the hands of the Most High. Those who called you a failure will swallow every word as they witness the glory descending upon someone who remained standing even when no one bet on you. And pay close attention to what I am about to reveal to you, because this message did not appear on your screen by coincidence. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity will never be able to see. A game where your dignity, your spiritual lineage, and the role you were designated to fulfill in this transition are being decided. Think with me without haste. What if everything you have always felt, this deep sense of estrangement, this discomfort of never belonging to common places, this silent certainty that you were born for something greater, was exactly the proof that you are not a victim of this story, but the centerpiece of a restoration that heaven has already signed with blood, fire, and an eternal seal? That is exactly why I prepared this powerful ebook for you, The Chosen One's Manual for Family Protection. This ebook is not just a reading, it is a map of restoration, a map that reveals who is playing against your crown in the invisible realm, what the spiritual rules are that you were never told about how to recover everything they tried to steal from you, and what has already been revealed about this exact moment we are living in, where God is calling the chosen ones back to the throne that has always belonged to them by right. This ebook was created specifically for those who have already awakened enough to understand that the humiliation they experienced was no accident. It was an organized attempt to prevent your crown from shining and your house from being restored. The link is pinned in the first comment at the top of the comment section of this video, but I must warn you seriously, this type of content rarely remains available for long. What is in these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have already been clear attempts to silence this knowledge before it reaches the right hands. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not come across this video by accident. Download it now and comment below this phrase, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." Now that you have made this decision, the next truth I am going to reveal to you will be the final blow against the oppression that tried to keep you down for too long. There is a word that needs to be pronounced over your life at this very instant, and it is a word that will bother many people who tried to diminish you over the years. You are of the lineage of the restored, not the defeated. The restored. And there is a vast difference, spiritually speaking, between those who never fell and those who were lifted up by the Father's hands. Those who never fell do not know the weight of their own crown. But those who were thrown to the ground, betrayed, abandoned, forgotten, ridiculed, and yet continued to cry out, yet remained standing, yet kept the faith burning when all the lights seemed to be out, that person, chosen one, carries in their eyes an authority that no one can imitate. You cannot buy this authority in any course. You cannot learn it in a human book. It is only born in the heart of one who was stepped on and did not seek revenge, of one who was humiliated and continued to bless, of one who was betrayed and, even while hurting, continued to love. This is what will shine in you at 8 o'clock. It is not a metaphor, it is not poetry, it is a decree. It is, and it was no accident that the enemy invested so much in your fall in recent years. He knew exactly what was at stake. He had access to information that you did not yet have about yourself. He knew that if you discovered who you really are, the entire game would flip at once. That is why they did everything to convince you that you were small, that you did not deserve it, that your story had already ended, that the best of your life was left behind in your youth, in the relationship that ended, in the job that was lost, in the business that didn't work out. A lie, an organized spiritual lie with surgical precision to keep you docile, conformed, and anesthetized within your own fall. But today, at this exact moment as you are hearing these words, that lie is being undone from on high. The hands that tried to push you down are being cut off in the unseen. The mouths that spoke against your life are being sealed in the heavenly realm. The pacts made against your family by people you don't even know are being untied, thread by thread, knot by knot, by the hands of angels who received a direct order from the throne. And perhaps you are wondering now, why 8 o'clock? Why was this specific time chosen for the turning point? Because 8 o'clock in the spiritual calendar is the moment of transition between the day and the depth of the night. It is the instant when heaven leans over the earth to seal decrees that were pronounced in the highest regions. It is the time when many of your battles were lost in the past because you did not know this secret. It is also the time when many victories are being delivered in this exact period of your life, even if you have not yet seen the signs clearly. Start observing closely. Start taking notes. Start noticing how, at exactly this time, things begin to move in a different way. People start talking to you again. Unexpected doors open. Confirming dreams begin to arrive. It is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. It is heaven leaving clear messages for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And it is precisely because of this that this e-book, The Chosen One's Manual for Family Protection, needs to be in your hands before the next turning point. This e-book is not a self-help book. It is not a generic manual of shallow motivation. It is an organized revelation about spiritual hours, about the times of decree, about the movements of the unseen that decide whether your crown will shine or if it will remain covered because of old pacts that no one taught you how to undo. This e-book specifically teaches how to recognize the signs of restoration that are arriving at your home, how to protect your family from attacks that increase exactly when the crown is about to be returned, and how to position yourself at the right times to receive everything that was signed in your favor at the throne. The link is pinned in the first comment at the top of the comment section. There have already been attempts to take this content down, because what is written there touches on structures that many would prefer to keep untouched. Therefore, Chosen One, do not delay for another minute. Download it now before the window closes. Comment: I am chosen, and I will download the e-book. This comment is a confession of faith. It is a decree from your own mouth confirming what heaven has already decided about your life. And now that you have made this pact of obedience, I'm going to tell you what happens after 8 o'clock, and this next truth will change the way you view your entire history from today onward. There is a scene that repeats itself in the spiritual world much more frequently than people imagine, and it is a scene that needs to be narrated clearly so that you understand the magnitude of what is happening now. Imagine a king's son who was kidnapped as a child, taken far from the palace, raised among servants, dressed in rags, fed with scraps, taught to bow his head, trained to believe he was just one more among the forgotten. Imagine that this son grew up without knowing his own origin, feeling only deep in his chest a constant unease, a silent certainty that that place was not his, that life did not match his soul, that there was something deeply wrong with that routine of submission to those who had no right over him. This is your story, Chosen One. This is the spiritual story of many who are watching this message right now. You were kidnapped from your own identity. You were raised by a system that profited from your forgetfulness. You were dressed in spiritual rags that were never yours. And today, at this very instant, the Father is sending messengers to remind you of who you are before the clock strikes 8, and the decree is sealed forever. And this remembrance comes with weight. It comes with responsibility. Because along with the restored crown comes also the understanding that everything you went through had a specific purpose. Every tear was catalogued in the books of heaven. Every sleepless night was carefully noted. Every injustice was recorded with a name, a date, and the one responsible, and nothing, Absolutely nothing will go unanswered. Those who betrayed you will see. Those who abandoned you will see. Those who called you dramatic when you expressed your pain will see. Those who laughed at you when you shared your dreams will see. But pay attention, chosen one. Vengeance does not belong to you. Do not dirty your hands with what the Father has already decided to do personally. Your function now is to position yourself. It is to prepare yourself. It is to keep the crown held high even before the brilliance appears to outside eyes. Because the brilliance does not create the crown, the brilliance merely reveals a crown that was always there, covered by the dust of the fall, but intact in its essence. There is also something important that needs to be said about the sound of restoration. There is a specific frequency that begins to play in the invisible realm when a crown is being handed back to its legitimate bearer. Many chosen ones have reported in this exact period, hearing a ringing in their ears for no apparent reason, feeling a sudden heat over their heads, having dreams of palaces, of thrones, of shining robes, of known people bowing down, and they get confused, thinking they are imagining things. It is not imagination. It is the frequency of your crown being tuned back to its original channel. It is your soul being realigned with the vibration of spiritual royalty that has always belonged to you by inheritance. If you have felt any of these signs in recent weeks, write the word "I confirm" in the comments now, because heaven is recording every testimony that comes out of your mouth at this moment. And there is yet another layer that needs to be revealed with courage. Have you ever noticed how in your life the people who attacked you the most were precisely those who should have protected you? Have you noticed how many of the deepest betrayals came from within your own home, from close friends, from relationships that should have been based on a covenant? This was not random. This was a strategy. The enemy knew that external attacks would make you stronger, so he organized internal attacks. Attacks from people close to you, attacks camouflaged as love, care, concern, or advice, to break you from the inside where you had no defense prepared, to make you doubt even yourself, to convince you that if even those who should love you treated you that way, then you must truly deserve it. A lie. A refined and cruel lie. They treated you that way because they felt your crown, even without knowing how to name what they were feeling. Spiritual envy recognizes the anointing even before the person carrying the anointing recognizes their own calling. Therefore, before 8 o'clock, I need you to make an important inner movement. Look back mentally and forgive, not to set free the one who hurt you, but to set yourself free from the weight you are carrying unnecessarily. Forgiveness is the key that opens the door to the room where your crown is kept. Without forgiveness, there is no complete restoration. With forgiveness, there is no barrier that can resist the descent of glory upon your head. This is one of the oldest secrets of the kingdom, and it is a secret that is costing the liberation of many chosen ones at this very moment. Do not be among them. Let go. Decree out loud now, I let go. I surrender it. I carry it no more. And feel in your chest the air entering in a different way, lighter, cleaner, freer. And it is exactly about this inner liberation, about these invisible pacts, about these frequencies of restoration, and about spiritual times that this e-book, the Chosen One's Manual for Family Protection, was written line by line. It explains, chapter by chapter, how to identify the signs of a crown in the process of restoration, how to recognize internal attacks disguised as family love, how to say specific prayers at the 8 o'clock hour to seal everything heaven is releasing to you in this exact period, and how to shield your home against the retaliation that always happens when a restoration is about to be fully delivered. This e-book was not written for weekend curious seekers. It was written for those who understand they are in a spiritual war and want serious ammunition in their hands. The link is pinned at the top of the comments, in the first marked comment. This content has already been targeted for removal because it touches on points that few materials have the courage to touch, and for that very reason, it has been reaching the right hands, the hands of those who were chosen before the foundation of the world. Download it now and comment, I am chosen and I will download the ebook. Each comment is a spiritual signature, a confirmation in the invisible realm that you accept the crown that is descending. And now that you have positioned yourself again before heaven, I am going to reveal to you what happens exactly at 8 o'clock, because this last part is the core of everything, and it was purposely saved for those who made it this far with an open heart. There is a profound reason for heaven having chosen 8 o'clock as the time for sealing your restoration, and this reason needs to be explained with care and responsibility. In the clock of the unseen, 8 o'clock is the moment when many of the watches of the guardians assigned to you change shifts. It is when the angels who look after your purpose receive new instructions directly from the throne. It is also when many of the forces that tried to block your progress move away, because their shift, by temporary divine permission that was in effect, ends exactly then. For this reason, for a long time, important decisions of the kingdom were made at exactly this time. This is why many ancient prophets sought the Father at this specific moment of the day. This is why, in various spiritual traditions that kept part of the original revelation, 8 o'clock is considered the golden gate of the day, the moment when heaven leans over the earth and says, "Now." And it is in this now that your story is being rewritten by hands that never make a mistake. Perhaps you are watching this message before 8 o'clock, and in that case I ask you with all seriousness, prepare your heart until then. Say a simple prayer. Light a candle if that is your custom. Place your hand over your chest and say in an audible voice, "I receive the crown that the Father is restoring upon my head at this very instant. I reject every lie that convinced me I did not deserve it. I undo every pact made against my life without my consent. I position myself as a restored son, as a restored daughter, and I receive the inheritance that has always been mine by right of covenant." Say this. Do not be ashamed. It does not matter if you are alone or accompanied. Words create reality in the invisible world, and the right words, spoken at the right time, with the right heart, move mountains that seemed permanent. Perhaps you are watching after 8 o'clock, and in that case, know that the decree remains fully active throughout the night that follows. The seal is placed at 8, but the work continues to be executed in the following hours, especially between 3 and 4 in the morning, which is another time of spiritual transition where the chosen ones often wake up for no apparent reason. If you wake up at that time today, do not fight the awakening. It is an invitation. It is a scheduled audience. It is heaven calling you for an intimate conversation where some of the greatest revelations of your life are usually delivered in sacred silence. And it must also be said with all honesty, not everyone who surrounds you now will continue to surround you after the restoration. This hurts, but it is a truth that needs to be spoken. Some relationships were built on the foundation of your fall. Some people only felt comfortable with you while you were below them. The moment your crown begins to shine, these people will move away, and their departure is not a punishment against you. It is heaven's protection over you. Do not chase them. Do not humiliate yourself to keep them. Do not trade your crown for the approval of those who never truly saw who you are. The Father is doing a silent cleaning in your life during this exact period, and everything that is leaving because it has already fulfilled its role or because it never truly belonged to your eternal purpose. In compensation, new people are being positioned in your path. People you do not yet know but who are being moved at this very instant to cross paths with you in the coming days and weeks. Some will arrive through work, others through church or through seemingly casual encounters. Some will arrive through social media, perhaps even through this video you are watching now. Pay double attention. Write down names. Observe synchronicities. Heaven works through people, and the right people are being dispatched exactly for the moment when you will most need each one of them. When they arrive, you will recognize them by the Spirit. You will feel a different peace. You will feel that they are of your lineage, of your covenant, of your spiritual frequency of origin. And I need to warn you of something very important. In the next 72 hours, it is possible that you will go through a final test before the full delivery. Something seemingly bad might happen. Unpleasant news, an unexpected frustration, an unplanned bill. A fight for no apparent reason inside the house. Do not despair. It is the last blow of the old system trying to convince you that nothing is changing, that everything remains the same, that this message was just another beautiful video with no real effect on your life. A complete lie. It is exactly the opposite. These last-minute attacks are confirmation that something great is being delivered. because the enemy does not waste energy attacking someone he already considers defeated and beyond return. If he is attacking now, it is because he is afraid of your restoration. And he has plenty of reason to be afraid. The crown that is descending upon you does not come alone. It comes accompanied by provision, by open doors that had been closed for years, by strategic people you needed to meet long ago, by peace that surpasses human understanding, and by a spiritual authority that will allow you, in a short time, to bless even those who tried to destroy you in the past. This chosen one is the final level of restoration. When you can look at the one who hurt you without hatred, without fear, without a desire for the return of evil, only with the serenity of one who understood that that person was an instrument, even without knowing it, for the refinement of your crown. You do not need to love them as you love your own, but you need to release them from the weight you carried because of them. Because as long as you carry their weight inside your chest, you cannot place the crown properly on your head. The crown requires a light head, a head held high, a head free of old resentment. And here we reach the most delicate and powerful point of this message. There is a specific calling for your family within this restoration. The crown that is descending upon you is not just individual, it is generational. It reaches your parents, your children, your siblings, your grandchildren who perhaps have not even been born yet. You are being elevated to be a bridge, to be a door, to be a living reference for an entire lineage that will change its level starting from your decision today. And that is exactly why the attacks against your house have been so intense in recent months. The enemy was not just fighting you, he was fighting against the entire lineage that breaks free starting from your restoration. That is why it is so urgent that you protect yourself, that you protect your family, that you learn the right steps of spiritual shielding that very few people truly have access to. And that is exactly what this ebook, The Chosen One's Manual for Family Protection, does in practice day after day, in the life of those who already have it in their hands. It gives you the specific prayers for the 8 o'clock hour, the sealing declarations for after any retaliatory attack, the instructions for protecting your children against inherited generational retaliation, the spiritual maps that show how to recognize old pacts that are still in effect over your surname, and the exact steps to receive the financial, emotional, and spiritual inheritance that was blocked by the previous fall of your lineage. This ebook is the natural continuation of this message you have just heard. Everything I could not detail here, due to video time limitations, is organized in there with clarity, depth, and order. The link is pinned in the first comment at the top of the comments of this video. It has already been the target of removal attempts because the content challenges narratives that many would prefer to keep untouched forever, so do not delay for a single minute longer. Download it now, Chosen One. Comment, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." This comment is your spiritual signature of acceptance of the crown that is being delivered. It is your audible yes to the call heaven is making. It is your public positioning before the unseen that you will no longer accept the small version they tried to impose on you for years. And remember, 8 o'clock is the official time for sealing, but the crown begins to move at the exact instant you decide to believe and act. Decide now, act now, receive now. Oh, receive. Because you did not reach the end of this video by chance. You reached this point because heaven brought you personally by the hand. And what is being delivered to you in these next few hours will mark your history and the history of your family forever. May your crown shine, Chosen One. May your house be fully restored. May your name sound on high again as it always should have sounded from the beginning. 8 o'clock. By direct order of God. It is done. It is sealed. It is fulfilled.